Hello, CFS. Happy Sunday. I'm excited to see a lot of you that I don't normally get to see on Sunday and then see some of the Sunday regulars. So this will be really fun. So today's workout's a long one. It's 32 minutes. And the only thing you need is a set of dumbbells or a pack, your backpack with your racks or canned goods in them. And then a timer. So you can download a HIIT app. And then if you need help like setting that up, just message me before the actual class so I don't have to like go into it with everybody. Or you can just use a running timer, and every 2 minutes or every even number, you're just switching movements. All right. With that said, there's no rest. So rest when you need. A lot of these are going to be either burning or fatiguing. So take that rest and then just keep moving the body. Okay. So the first movement is going to be, let me go over this first. So if you looked at Sugar WOD, you have 4 rounds of these 4 movements. So again, 2 minutes each, 32 minutes. So the 4 movements are handstand hops, squats, floor press, and an S-sit. So the handstand hops, they are not necessarily a handstand. They're really just a good shoulder piece, a little core, a little heart rate. And so we're really not thinking about them as handstands, although they do progress to handstands in your gymnastics course. But yeah, so what that's going to look like. Also, welcome to my gym. Okay, it's really a dining room, but we do not have a dining room table. So you're going to start with your shoulders stacked over your wrist. And so this really depends on your own wrist mobility. If you can go even further, that's always a good idea, but that's totally up to you. I just don't want you to be too far back here. So as far forward as you normally are in plank, or again, as far as your wrist will allow, and then handstand hops. So what that's going to look like is mostly, let me go forward, this back leg does a lot of the work. So again, shoulders stacked, that's your first thing. I want that back leg to do a big pendulum swing. It's going to stay straight the whole time. And so for some of you, this is what your movement will look like. This is step 1. Can you keep the back leg straight? It should not be bent at the top, so locking it out. The second thing we're going to focus on is the bottom leg. So bending it and then straightening it. Bend and straighten. This is a huge hamstring stretch for a lot of people, so there's no point in trying to kick up to the wall if you're really tight normally. So this might be your movement. The third step would be leaving the ground. So I like to do it alternating. So pendulum, leave the ground, back leg, leave the ground. It gets you to focus on that back leg doing the majority of the work. And staying straight, which is really hard for a lot of people. You can film yourself and test yourself out and see. Usually the back leg is bent and you're like, I swear it's straight. That happens to me too. So pendulum, focusing on the back leg being really straight. The second part would be bending the standing leg. So again, bend, straighten. And then third would be leaving the ground. And you can do it alternating. So back leg, leave the ground. Back leg, leave the ground, okay? The third piece would be just leaving the ground every single time. So leaving the ground. And then for some of you, you might add in a little more hang time. But if you notice, my legs are staying in that L the whole time. So I don't want you to kick your legs up together today. We're just gonna work on the L position and holding. If you can hold some hang time in that really stacked position and the other leg is sticking straight out, that means you're in a hollow body. That means there's no way that you went into a back bend or very little option for going into a back bend, which is really nice. With this one, you're alternating. So you can alternate every single time. You can do, if you're proficient, you can do like, 5 or 10 jumps on one leg, 5 or 10 jumps on the other. But it's really important to switch legs, especially if you practice handstands often. You can really take those hips and sort of pull them out of alignment, be more flexible on one side, which can lead to injuries. So definitely switching and alternating both legs, even if it's uncomfortable. Have you ever tried to brush your teeth with your left hand or opposite hand? That's really hard. Okay, you can do this against the wall if you need to, but you should be able to do it in a free space because you're not going up. But if you feel more comfortable against the wall, for sure, but make sure you don't touch the wall. Make sure you kind of pretend like it's not there, or like against your couch in case you like flop over. But again, you only have to leave the ground a few inches for it to be good work, and then staying in that really tight hollow body so you're not going into a back bend. I'll demo what that looks like Never feels good to do this, even just demoing. So I want to avoid going into a back bend. I want to make sure that I'm pressing the ground away and just doing a little baby hops. Okay. The second piece is going to be a squat. And so you're going to do a squat 3, 3, 3. 3 seconds down, 3 second hold, 3 seconds up. So you don't necessarily have to use a timer, but just being a good counter, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So that's the move. You also want to make sure that you're practicing good form here. So making sure that when I go down, maybe my butt doesn't go back first, maybe my knees go forward and then my butt goes back. When I'm in the bottom position, if you tend to be back here, maybe making sure you're sitting up well, okay, as long as your knees are happy. And then on the way up, this is my fault. I usually have my hips go up first, so I want to make sure that my chest goes up first. So you have such a good opportunity here to really perfect your form and work on your mobility at the bottom of that squat. If you're forward into those ankles that are usually tight, you can really improve your mobility. This is just body weight, but you can for sure hold a dumbbell in the goblet position or maybe a broomstick in that front rack. It kind of helps guide you. So we did the benchmark WOD and I held my little bar, it's like 15 or 20 pounds, just to keep a measurement on like where my elbows are going, because I do tend to like send my hips up first, especially when it gets heavy. So that was just for myself to work on. So those are your squats, 3, 3, 3. The third one is going to be a floor press and a single leg bridge. The floor press in the bridge is way more about the core than it is about the chest press. So dumbbells, a backpack filled with stuff that you can press. When we're doing our press, we want to make sure that our arms are not in that T and that they're down here like 45 degrees. That's usually what I say, give or take. They can be in a little closer, they can be up a little higher, but if you start to get up here, that's going to be really bad for the shoulders. So you want the shoulders down. So that's going to look like this. So I got my dumbbells. Again, don't have to be crazy heavy. I'm going to go back, hips go up, and then I'm going to extend one leg. So just extend your leg out, make sure the hips stay high, and then floor press, okay? So I want to make sure, again, that my dumbbells are over my chest, not over my face. And then however many you do on one side, just make sure you're even on the other side, okay? I think that was it with that one. Yeah, really exaggerated chest in that bridge. Should feel the same way you do on the bench. You're pressing your legs into the floor. And whatever you can do, if you can do 3 and 3 or 10 and 10, you can alternate your legs whenever you feel that they're dropping, right? So really work on keeping the hips really high. And then the last one is an S sit. And so I normally call this a side bent sit, but it does resemble an S. So I thought that'd be easier. It's also called a 90-90 sit. MMA calls it a side bent sit, which is where I got it from. So you're sitting in this position, and I'm just going to go over the movement fast and slow, and then I'll break it down. So slow, it's going to look like this. And then fast, it'll look like this. Okay, so you're in your S sit. It also changes if you press your legs out a little bit. That's definitely harder, but not in a bad way. Like not like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do the harder version. Sometimes it's easier on the knee. So just play with your legs being out 90-90 or maybe in a little bit, find that sweet spot. But it should be a stretch. You should definitely feel it. Whenever we're stretching, you want like a 3 out of 10. Stretching should not be super painful. I know, yes, in gymnastics, I used to be like pressed upon into my splits. We don't want to do that. So really, really gentle sensation happening. And then I'm going to take my back leg and just lift it up. I can lean over to make that happen. I can use my hands and I'm going to extend my leg out. Slow version would be keeping this straight. So if you can keep this straight for a while, do it, man. And then you just switch. So just so you can see the switch. One leg is straight. I'm just going to switch feet. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of turn and lean this way, rotate my leg, and get it to go down. So the slow version, again, lift the back leg, extend it out, hold here for a second, maybe put the other leg out and then bring it in. The slower, the better. And then you end up on the other side. Slow means you can sit here for 30 seconds. You can sit here for 30 seconds if you want to, but you really want to slow things down. So at any moment, if you said red light, I could stop at any moment. More challenging is letting the knee drop first. So as I bring that leg back, if I can let my knee touch first, that's even more challenging. So that's good. Fast can look like this, and you can use your hands as you move around. There's no right or wrong. Fast is good, slow is good. You're there for 2 minutes, so I always like to break things up when I'm there for a long time. I like to do, 10 fast, 10 slow. That's kind of my go-to to break up that time. So that's your S sit. Like I said, you can use your hands moving around. It's a huge mobility. It's a little bit of core, which is nice, and then it'll warm you up for the squats. So those are your 4 movements: handstand hops, squats, floor press, S sit. I got 4 rounds down for 32 minutes, but if you can just do 3, that's even good. Yeah, all right. So those are your movements, and it was so nice seeing you guys and welcoming you into my home. I can't wait for this to be over, and then we can all actually hang out together.